Huzur. My husband was recently interested to read about natural healing systems, and he also read about Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, who was the pioneer of homeopathic medicine. He was especially interested to read that Dr. Hahnemann was a man of humility and strong faith, and attributed his discoveries and knowledge to the grace of God and not to himself. Is this what initially interested Huzur in homeopathy?
No, this did not initially lead me to homeopathy, but when I was led to homeopathy and read the original works of Hahnemann, etc., and other great doctors, I was deeply impressed by Hahnemann's humility and his belief in God. There is no mention of any Trinity anywhere in Hahnemann's references to cure and spiritual cure, etc. So he was an upright man, very humble and service-minded, who believed in the unity of God. That was my discovery, but that is not what led me to him.
What did lead Huzur to? What did lead Huzur to homeopathy?
That was, as they call, accidental maybe, but I think it was ordained by Allah. Now, as I have developed as a homeopath, internationally, homeopathic service is being rendered for all the poor of the Western countries. Now I feel it was not accidental, it was so ordained by God. What happened was that when my father was ill, I went to his library, homeopathic library. He had a huge library. Almost all the homeopathic books which were published by that time, he had collected. So I opened up a chapter just by chance, and there it was speaking of nectar. And I was amazed to see that the chapter dealt with the symptoms of my late wife, who was suffering from some menstrual disorders, answering the description of the book of the chapter, answering the description in the chapter nectar. So I didn't know much about nectar and anything. I looked at the the files of homeopathic, bottles of homeopathic, and one bottle said nectar CM. So I didn't know much about CM. So I took a dose and gave it to Asfa. And amazingly, just one single dose cured her of all her ailments of the past. Just once. So that was amazing. So I said there has to be something in homeopathy. So I read it more and bought many books and used to read often, and started practicing at home, and as they call guinea pigs, but guinea pig is bad word, but I experimented on my own family and children. And some people used to scare me and say, why are you doing this injustice to your children? So I said, if I do injustice to other children, I'll be held answerable to God. Like charity begins at home, so also service of mankind must be done after experimenting with your own children. And with the grace of Allah, all of them was saved from allopathic treatment from then on. Even they didn't get injections. You see, during the many epidemic diseases, they made some preventing injections, but I said no. If a homeopathic medicine was found to be a preventive remedy. I used that on them and found that it had amazing effect. So the gradual experience then encouraged me to practice homeopathy on others as well. And their responses were also beautiful and fantastic. Especially in the beginning, Allah was so kind that chances led me to discoveries which were not even mentioned in the books. So this is a short description of why I got interested and what led me to Hahnemann.